Welcome everyone. This is Franco Ucci and Kurt Liu. Thursdays with Franco, where we talk autonomous, Apex, and all sorts of things associated. Hey Kurt, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Franco?
I'm good too. So Kurt, obviously today it's JSON database with Apex. You've prepared a few things for us to look at today.
Yes. I got a very quick presentation, and I got a few demos to show.
Cool. Let's get those slides up and going. So while Kurt's getting those slides up and going, I think people appreciate that the Oracle database, and specifically the autonomous database, we talk about it being converged. So it means things like graph, spatial, all sorts of capabilities are able to be managed in that database. And today, Kurt's going to talk to us about JSON in the database. Over to you, Kurt. Let's have a look what you got prepared.
Yep. Thank you, Franco. Hi, everyone. My name is Kurt Liu. I think most of you know me already. So I'm part of the Data and Digital Specialist team. And today we're going to talk about the autonomous JSON database, the best of the both data worlds. I will quickly flick through a presentation, and I will show a few things after that. So before we talk about the autonomous JSON database, what is the JSON? A quick question. I guess most of people know the JSON already. So it's kind of a JSON stands for the JavaScript object notation, which was used for representing JavaScript object initially. But now it is a hierarchical data structure using attribute value or attribute array pairs that is broadly used for storing data and transferring data across different systems, right? So I mentioned the two data worlds. What I mean by that is really the relational and the non-relational world. In the relational world, we create a relational schema, which is typically comprised of a bunch of tables and the relationships between them. And relational schemas are usually normalized to reduce the storage requirement. And we use a structured query language or SQL to join the different tables together. SQL has been the industry standard for decades and is now the foundation for our today's enterprise analytical dashboards and ad hoc reporting systems, right? We also use SQL to manipulate data, as we all know, in the relational world. However, on the other side of the screen, as you can see, in the non-relational world, tables are called connections, and which are used to store JSON documents in something we call the document database today. And data ingestion is all done through the APIs, as you can see on the screen.
That's cool. That's cool, Kurt. Especially I like the movies reference and also the DVD. I love my DVDs with what's going on there. And you use the word collection and hierarchical nature. And for some old timers like me, we've been used to relational tables. So the point you're making here is, even though these are two very different worlds, they can still represent data. And it sounds like you're going to take us to that in the autonomous JSON database. We can look at both of these and have them coexist. Yeah,
definitely. Yep. So let's move on to the next one. We're going to quickly talk about this autonomous JSON database, right? So autonomous JSON database is really a managed cloud service for JSON storage, right? It inherits all the autonomous features and, in another word, the best of the relational world, right? Oracle is the best relational database, and autonomous is the best flavor of the Oracle database there, right? And so all the autonomous features like self-driving, self-securing, self-repairing, and so on. It provides the native JSON storage as well as simple document APIs. So it's I would say it's not only SQL database. Another way to say, another way to say that no SQL, NO as in not only SQL. So shall I just quickly move on to a quick, demo to provision a JSON database now, actually?
That's a great idea. So it sounds like you're going to provision a database. You're then going to show us how to upload some JSON as a collection, and then we're going to be able to interact with that JSON probably via a variety of forms.
That's correct. That's correct. Just
and now I do hope you're using movie data. Keep it interesting.
Well, yeah, I got some movies. So let's see. Let me bring up my screen again. Can you see my browser?
I can.
I had
Okay, so this is the OCI console, and you're in the autonomous database part.
That's correct. So I'm in the autonomous page where I can create an autonomous database. So if I click on this, just give a name for that.
Oh, so you're going to create a brand new database right now?
Yeah. So hopefully that won't take too much time. I call that AJDB demo. And you can see that we've got the different flavors, data warehouse, transaction processing, JSON, Apex. So JSON has been selected here, and it runs on the shared infrastructure. We have a dedicated infrastructure as well. And the database version is 19C, as we usually see. And you can see that we actually can have the CPU auto scaling as well as the storage auto scaling enabled for that.
Right.
Right. So I just need to put in the password for that.
Password's always the hardest bit.
It is, isn't it? I normally read mine out.
Yeah, tell me about it. So I need to be very, very careful. Where's my password? So next, in terms of a network access, you have 3 different options here. And usually, for my demo, I would choose this one. So I can use my IP address, my public IP address as the, the firewall rules to only allow me to access at the moment.
That's not very nice, Kurt. So you're saying only you can access it. If I put my IP address, you won't let me access it.
Well, I can add you.
No, it's okay.
That's a bit of that.
That's a cool capability.
Yes. So optionally, I can put my email address here as well. So when the database is ready, I will get a notification. Okay.
Kurt, am I right in thinking? And I'll put my camera on if I can. Am I right in thinking that the private endpoint, if you just go back up to that whitelist, or you can't, now you pressed it.
Oh, sorry.
But that's a prerequisite for the Mongo capability and AJDB, I think. Is that right?
No, I think it's available for all autonomous. Because different flavors
AJDB was okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe that's changed.
Later on, if we need to change it, we've got the update network access here. We can change that to different options. So this will, normally take a couple of minutes to finish. And I probably can just go back to the presentation and we'll come back to it in a tick, okay? So I'll just share my screen again. Okay. So we started to provision the autonomous database, and a further look at this autonomous JSON database. So as we said, it's an autonomous database. It provides the full SQL support. So it is an Oracle database as well. So you get the full Oracle SQL support. And it's just one flavor of the autonomous database as we have seen, right? So it maintains all the transaction integrity and also gives you all the enterprise security features from the Oracle database, right? And it also comes with the Apex no-code development platform, which I will, show you in a tick. Okay. So very quickly, I think that's already there. So next, I will show you how I can create a Apex workspace and then manage the database users in this environment for the developers. Okay. So I switch back to my browser. Hopefully that database is up running. Okay, sorry. The page is refreshed, so it's available now, which is fantastic. And yeah, so as you can see, in this OCI console, got different things here. The DB connection, you can run Performance Hub, you can manage the scaling, you can change, you can create clones, you can update the network access, etc. And you can change the workload type as well. One thing I didn't mention, thing I didn't mention was if you want to convert this autonomous JSON database into the autonomous transaction processing, it's really just one click away. Okay, so obviously the cost of that is different. So yeah, I won't do that just now. So what I will do next is I will be using the database actions, which is a very, very cool tool to manage the the database as well as doing the development. So I'm opening that database actions page now. The first time open it take a few seconds. So you can see that you got development, data tools for you to know the data. Under the development, you got SQL, REST, JSON, scheduling, all that kind of things.
And Kurt, I know today we're going to stay focused on JSON, but I just noticed there on the right-hand side under JSON, it's now got that thing there, download add-in for Excel. So maybe in the future, we'll get someone to show us that. But that's pretty cool. Just notice that. So back to you, Kurt.
Sure. So I can manage the Apex workspace here and manage the database users here as well. And also you can see that there's something called the Oracle Database API for MongoDB here, which I will be showing you in a tick as well. So I will start creating a workspace and manage the Apex workspace from here. Just click a button. And I will call that AJDB workspace. And you normally choose a existing database user, but because this is a brand new database I just created, so I don't have that user just yet. So I can create the user just typing. Actually, I will try to copy my password this time. Save some time typing. And yes, so the user will be created the database user will be created as we create this workspace, because it's first time creating this workspace. And it will create a workspace user for, some, for me to access the application as well. So that is being created. And I got this, this quick link here. I can click to open that page, open the sign-in page, but I won't sign in just yet. So if I go back to this database actions, and next I will quickly show you how I can manage these database users through the database actions. So this is the manage database user page, and you can see the user demo has been created here, and I can click this three dots button to edit this user. So you can see that I can grant the quota on table space. I give it 1 GB. I can change password. I can make it expire, that kind of things. I can also enable the graph and the OML features here for this user. So I won't do that just yet, but with this granted rows, as you can see that I can manage, what kind of rows this user should have. The many of rows here, but I want to add another one called a DW row, which is a typical row we grant in the autonomous world. And there's another one called the Soda API. I'll get to the Soda API very shortly. So I click on that and apply changes. That's how I can grant the rows, but sometimes we need some specific system privileges or object privileges. I can use the SQL page, this SQL page, as the admin user at the moment. I'm the admin user at the moment, so I can grant some additional system privileges or object privileges as well to this user. Because the admin just, traditionally we call that DBA. So here you can see that I can run this SQLs here to grant the privileges. So these privileges will be relevant for my demo, using the SQL to create different objects. So I grant this now. And yeah, so that's the quick demo about using database actions to create a workspace, Apex workspace, and manage the users. Okay.
That's cool. So you've shown us the user interface if I want to keep it simple, but at the same time, we can go into the SQL capability and do a little bit more work.
Yes. So next, I guess this is probably I wouldn't say the last page, but this is really about, what JSON database provide. Here, as you can see that Oracle provides two types of document store APIs for AJDB, Soda API, and also the Oracle Database API for MongoDB. The Soda is a short name for the Simple Oracle Document Access, which is the Oracle's native API for developers to program with Oracle JSON database, JSON connections. And the Oracle Database API for MongoDB provides a MongoDB compatible API, for developers to use the Oracle Autonomous Database, which means that you can not only use the same MongoDB application code with AJDB, but also you can use the same MongoDB client tools to access Oracle Autonomous Database. This is another thing I will show you shortly. Okay, and all these JSON documents are stored and managed in the Oracle database, which can then be accessed through different SQL-based reporting tools and analytical applications. Okay. Okay, now it's a movie time. Let's note some data and the query, movie data and the query the movies.
We should have had some background music from a couple of movies to create a bit more emotion on this. But yes, let's have a look at loading some movies.
Yep. So I'll be using the MongoDB Compass to load the movie data, and I'll use the database actions to access the movie data, using SQL. And then later on, probably the last bit, I'll be using the Apex to create a quick, simple Apex applications based on this autonomous JSON database. Okay. So bear with me.
So you're going to do a lot of stuff. We're going to load these JSON documents. We're going to interact with them via a Mongo capability, at the same time an Oracle capability. And then you're going to show how we can do something in parallel via Apex. Very cool.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me just sorry, shut it on screen. So first of all, I need to actually copy my MongoDB API because it's a new database. I probably should just bear with me. Press the share button. I'll show you this. So this is the same database actions page. So as I mentioned before, we've got the Oracle Database API for MongoDB, and this is the way I can grab the database API for MongoDB. So I copy that and I just put into my notepad.
And if I tried to do this, it wouldn't work because only your IP address is configured to access that autonomous.
That's correct. And you can run
and
this.
that is a prerequisite, Franco. I just checked that you have to have the secure access via IP set for Mongo to be available. So you do. It's not
interesting,
necessarily.
Isn't it?
It's not a private endpoint specifically, but you do have to have secure access via IP. So you can set the 4 zeros of your IP address, which is the internet, which is kind of it's a workaround if you like, but probably not a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if actually customers using this in the private endpoint, they should be able to access that. I actually, checked with our product management on that topic just very recently. Yeah, I think that the documentation on that, because it's a cloud and everything's moving so fast, so sometimes there's a bit of delay on that. Give me on 1 second. I'll just grab my connection string. So let me stop change my sharing. It's always a pain to find the share button. So I stop sharing and okay, this is my MongoDB compass. So I have a copy of my connection string from the database actions. So I connect into it. Perfect, it's connected.
And if you're a MongoDB developer, this is something you would be comfortable with. So for people that aren't across MongoDB, this is the sort of environment MongoDB developers interact with.
Yeah. So I'll create a new connections called the movies. And yeah, it's there. So I just open it. And there's a add data button. I can do that. I can choose my movie.
So Kurt, we're only seeing the compass screen. We're not, I think you're sharing a screen, but not, sorry, we're sharing an app, the MongoDB compass screen, but not everything that's on your screen.
Yeah, I think you've got a pop-up that we can't see.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So the node data, there's a input from file, and I click on that. There's a pop-up window for me to select the file. So that, can you see the data now?
No. So if you stop sharing and then share everything on that screen.
Okay.
No, it's all dangerous.
I'll stop my presentation.
So what's quite nice about what Kurt is doing while he's doing that is that if you do use MongoDB and you want to move and try Mongo on Oracle, this is the only thing you change, is that connection string.
Yes.
So it actually works really quite nicely.
Yeah, this is the window I was trying to show, and select the file, and yeah, just open that. You can see that it got JSON and it got CSVs. So if you choose actually choose a CSV file, that will be loaded as a JSON format as well.
That's great.
So this is the data loaded, and I could use the Mongo shell here to create the connections as well. Very quickly, I just got a few commands. I can copy paste here. So I create a new collection called the EMP, and I insert a record here, a document here. So you can see that from here you won't see that straight away because you need to reconnect. That's a MongoDB compass issue. But now I want to go back to my browser. Can you see my browser now? Actually,
yes, we can.
Yep. So I just because I'm sharing the desktop, the entire screen. So now I need to put in my password. What was my password? Cool, I got the correct password. So now you can see that I connected as my demo user, And you can see that there's a next task here because it's not a DBA user. Well, you can see the manage users, but that doesn't give me the permission to make any other changes other than managing my own password. Right, so that kind of things. So now I go back to, so first of all, have a quick look at the JSON here. I can see the connections I created just now through the MongoDB API. That's that, and this is the movie data. Similar to that, you got a query, you can run queries, everything here. But what I want to do is that I want to go to the SQL and see, hey, I got two tables here called EMP and movies.
Wow.
So you see that?
Yeah.
And I can run some basic queries here. I will just copy a few of them here just to quickly run. If I just run select star from movies, you see these blobs because all JSON data are stored in the blob column. But you can serialize them by running this, and you see this beautiful JSON format, or pretty format. Yeah, and you can run some, dot notation format. You can use a dot notation format to access the different attributes in the JSON table.
Now,
Okay.
hold on, Kurt. You've gone way too quick for an old person like me. So the select star from movies really showed me that for every JSON document, it actually had a record of an ID, a date, and a version. And then there was this column called blob. And it's actually, there's a column called data where the actual JSON document was actually stored. It's got created on and last modified. So last modified also tells me I could probably update elements of that JSON document.
That's good.
And then you've got this second statement you ran called JSON underscore serialize, and you got j.data pretty. So is that telling me serialize means it's laying all the data out so I can see it in a pretty manner? Is that what it's saying?
Yeah, it's kind of a converting from a encoded format into a human readable format. So we call that a serialized.
Very
cool. That is a kind of a native JSON format, as you can see that the hierarchical attribute value pairs.
That's really, really cool. Wow. So and so this is, you used the words before, best of both worlds. I can now start to see what you mean. And you then, that third SQL statement, you're actually bringing me back to somewhere I feel a bit more comfortable in the world of SQL. I can actually, start to interact with this with basic SQL statements. And with my little SQL knowledge, I could probably create a view. So it would make it even friendlier for people like me.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll just quickly create an index for you to see that. If I create an index, the same view can be using this index. I can see that I clicked on this execution plan, explain plan button to show the explain plan for this. Anyone who are familiar with Oracle database, queries, they know Oracle got the best optimizer for the relational world, and this is the execution plan that we'll be using, okay, for that query.
And I'm now starting to understand why you used materialized view as well, because if there are any concerns re-performance, you've taken a built-in braces approach with standing it up with a closer relational approach.
So Franco just mentioned that we can create a views. So this is what I do with the views. Dealing with the JSON, I can use this JSON table to actually convert this different hierarchical format into a relational columns, rows, that kind of a format. Okay, so sometimes we call that flatten the the JSON documents into the relational format. That can be done in this way. And I create two views. I'm going to create two views, one for this, for different attributes. So I create two of them. One is called the v underscore movies. The other is the v underscore movies genres. And I then can create, run different queries, just like I do with a normal relational table or relational view. So you see that oops, sorry, did
Yeah, try it again.
Okay. No, typo was my SQL. It was my SQL statement. So that's the, how I can run these queries. And I can run aggregations, a simple aggregation, just count how many movies, how many romance movies in 2009, 16, that kind of things. So this is the, getting towards that analytical reports, that kind of things. If we have a little bit of time, I actually want to ingest or create a relational table, actual relational table. Because we're talking about analytical things, so this is what we call the fact table. This actually comes with all the details, typical fact table that comes with the time dimensions, sales data like the price we sold, the movie tickets, that kind of things. So I create this table, and I got a bit of a data. Actually already loaded into the data lake, or in our object storage. If you got data lake, you can use these kind of things to DBMS cloud copy data to ingest data into this table. And it could create external tables as well, but I won't show that one just yet. So this hopefully will take a few seconds. We'll load this data from the object storage into a relational table. The reason why I do that is because in the real world, well, you got everything in the documentation, in the document database, but you may also have some more cleansed data, for reporting through the ETL, all that kind of things. Then you got this, some very cleaned aggregated data in the relational table, and you got raw data, maybe some raw data from the JSON documents or from the JSON table. In that case, you may want to join them together, right? So that way, I actually can see for each movie in the year and how much revenue we got. So this is actually in I think my query here. So that's okay. This is just for 1 year because I only loaded it. Sorry, it's actually for 1 month. I only loaded 1 month's data. Right, it's November 2020. Okay, that's why it's a small number. But for each movie, it got some dollar values there now. Okay.
Cool.
Now I think I probably don't have time to create that materials view. So this is another query I can run. This is based on the genres and aggregate, dramas, how much instead of the job title. Sorry, the movie title. The next, I think we probably can get back to the Apex.
Yeah,
right,
let's do it quickly. Let's show what's possible here now.
Okay, so I just put in the database username, password for this workspace, so I can log in. And I just go to we have talked about Apex a lot, so I don't, go through everything. I just very quickly create a new application. Called a movie report. And I can add a new page, which is an interactive report. And the page name, let's say, okay, and I can use a table view or SQL query. I would just, use the same query I just created. I can just put this here and add page. So that page I added, and I can add additional features, things like that. I won't do too many of these. Just create a new application.
That's really cool. So you've been able to show us within 30 odd minutes, provisioning an autonomous database, autonomous JSON database, which could be upgraded to an ATP. You then also showed us how we can, in the JSON world, load a soda collection, be able to interact with it from a Mongo starting point. And then you also showed us how to interact with it either natively within JSON via SQL. You've done also, you've ingested some data from object storage, created some joined views, capabilities, and now you've also gone ahead and developed a quick Apex app, which I'd love to continue to spend time doing. Well done, Kurt, but we're going to have to wrap it up there.
Yep.